Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the third edition of On the Way Up, our event on CSR that has now become a traditional mixture at Manitou Group's calendar. As a reminder, we are here today to present how CSR impacts are evolving in a constantly changing ecosystem. To discuss that, we'll have a lot of testimonials from our colleagues who are present here and also from all of our stakeholders. And as you are about to discover, the pace is getting quicker every year. To give you a global overview, we have decided to present this third issue following three major stakes, which are transformation, human resources, and beyond the climate. And we'll do it here, live from our aerial work platform factory in Condé, where we also produce electric machines. And for you who are watching us today, don't hesitate to send your questions on the following address. Be sure that we'll answer you. Before starting with this first part, I leave the stage to Michel Denis, President and CEO of Manitou Group. Hello, Michel.
Hello, Frank.
Michel, we are here in a place that makes sense, especially today. Don't you think so?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Here, the real proof that energy transition at Manitou Group is on track.
And what about the highlights of last year?
Yeah, many highlights. Hello to everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for watching and thank you for staying tuned into our event. Last year, yes, many achievements. We are in the right direction, in the right pace. It's a long road, but we're on a good pace. And I want to highlight some achievements. First, we launched 7 brand new machines, 100% electric at Bauma in Germany, demonstrating our advance, our innovation, putting our image in the front. Even the one press headline was Manitou electrifies Bauma. Second, we have launched, and this is the world first, the real life testing of a telehandler with a hydrogen fuel cell.
Thank you for this great news, Michel. Have you also some achievements to mention in terms of professional equality?
Yes, and that's my third point. We are making progress, reinforcing equality within the group with a gender equality index, which covers already 80% of the people, the employees at Manitou Group. This will help to measure improvements in various criteria, in various areas, such as gender diversity, equal pay, promotion, equal treatment, with a view to achieve a greater equality within the whole group. Finally, we have launched the new code of ethics with the training for all the people within the company.
All right, but beyond this project, do you sense any deeper changes?
Yes, deep changes, yes, of course. With the transformations underway, with the corporate sustainability reporting directive, the European taxonomy, and all the indicators that will be put in place that will change, it's on the way to change deeply the way we assess a company, the way we assess the future, the way we assess the perspective of the company. And people are assessing companies differently. In fact, it's an expectation of the market. It's a deep and real key strategic pillar for Manitou Group, and even for some fund managers that are already excluding some companies of their portfolio. Yes, it's key in the way we assess company for the future, and its company's future, it's at stake.
Thank you, Michel. I'm turning to you right now, Aude. Hello.
Hello, Frank.
So, Aude, you are VP CSR for Manitou Group. What would you add about the main highlights of the past year?
I would like to add a few things. This time, last year, we learned that a low carbon trajectory has been validated by the SBTi. This is an important recognition that our reduction targets are credible. So a low carbon pathway is a first important step in reducing our impact. And today we are well equipped to steer this low carbon trajectory. And it involves almost the whole company.
And you have also recently signed a new loan, isn't it?
Yes, we signed at the end of 2022 a loan agreement worth 375 million euro. And this loan is linked to 3 of our CSR annual targets. First, the accident frequency rate. Second, the CSR performance of our suppliers. And third, the carbon impact of our products. So these indicators will have positive or negative impact on the financing margin. Concretely, it means that the company has financial obligation to achieving its targets, which ties with Michel's points that now economic performance and CSR performance are linked.
You want maybe add a word on the last acquisition?
Yes. At the end of 2022, we had the acquisition of Easily, which specializes in designing and making lithium-ion batteries, which give us specific skills in view of the energy transition.
Thank you very much, Aude.
Thank you.
So let's go now into more detail with the first stake of our show, I mean transformation. Hello, Gwenaël Chaudaleux, and thank you for being with us.
Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone. Glad to be with you.
It's my pleasure. Let me remind that you are audit partner at KPMG, and I guess that you have a very interesting look about the transformation that affects all the companies. What picture would you paint of this?
Frank, in fact, faced with environmental and societal challenges, we need to rethink our development models toward a system that combines economic performance and positive impact. Companies must show imagination for the production of services and products that preserve resources and human health. They must also invent activities that combine environmental footprint and technological progress.
Okay, and what are the leverages of these companies?
Thanks to their capacity for innovation, their talents, and the diversity of means at their disposal, companies are driving this transformation, this revolution. After the digital acceleration observed over the last years, it is now the time for a decarbonization process that is now a strategic issue. Global CEOs see the importance of ESG initiative in their business when questioned about ESG impact on improving financial performance, driving growth, and meeting stakeholder expectations. KPMG Outlook that we published in March 2023 shows a market jump in demand from stakeholders such as customers, but also investors for increased transparency.
Okay, thank you. And do you have some concrete figures to give us?
Yes, CEO increasingly agree that ESG programs improve financial performance, sitting at 45% compared to 37% 1 year ago. They understand that business embracing ESG are best able to secure talent, strengthen employee value, attract loyal customers, and raise capital. 79% see stakeholder demand for increased reporting and transparency on ESG issue. Okay. And also 70% of CEO believes that stakeholder scrutiny on ESG will continue to increase.
Maybe your last key figure?
The last figure is that 70% of CEO indicate that stakeholder skepticism around greenwashing is increasing. Finally, ESG has gone from a nice to have to a must have for long-term financial success.
Thank you very much for this explanation, Gwenaël. It was very interesting. Let's now take a closer look at the importance of this issue with you, Hervé Rocher. Hello.
Hello, Frank.
So Hervé, you are Corporate Secretary and CFO at Manitou Group. Can you let us know why is this transformation important and why we are tackling this challenge?
Yes, Frank, we are entering in a new phase of this transformation of our business. We've been announcing them for years, but now the pace is accelerating and the announcements are transforming in reality. And if we compare with 3 years in a row, we are an exponential transformation which is ongoing.
Okay, and how would you define this evolution?
This evolution is going through a tremendous acceleration of awareness, also some actions for changes, and both from ourselves, our stakeholders, and also for the regulation at different levels. The debate has also shifted from the pure carbon and global warming to a more environmental global thinking, and now we are looking more at wider challenges such as which are impacting our business model, and we are talking about ecosystem evolutions, about pollution, about CO2, about water constraint, about biodiversity.
And in Europe, there are two major regulatory developments or revolutions underway: taxonomy and CSRD.
Yes, Michel mentioned that there is a really new changes and evolution which are going. In Europe, we've got the European Union's Green Deal that is reposing on two pillars. The first one is the green taxonomy, and the second one is the CSRD. All those actions are targeting to shift the business to a sustainable business. And for companies, that means that if you do not build and have a CSR roadmap, you won't get money in the future. All this in order to achieve neutral carbon by 2050.
Okay, thank you very much. When you mentioned CSRD, can you go maybe deeper in detail?
Yes, this is a regulation which is implemented starting 2024. And the ambition is to harmonize all the CSR standards to make them more reliable and also more comparable. So if I want to say that all companies which are above 250 employees in Europe will have to set up indicators in terms of environmental and also social matters. So that in order for those companies, when they've got that, to define targets of improvement, also to report what they are doing regarding these targets.
And what will this change concretely?
It changes dramatically the way we are looking at the business, because for the company, we are looking at how the company is impacting the environment. We are looking also how the environment will impact our company, and we are looking also at what are the interdependencies between these two dynamics. So it helps us to become much more aware of challenges. The result is for everybody to have a much wider view, an enriched vision of the company, and not looking solely on financial performance, but to look at social, environmental, and financial performance.
Okay, very clear. And is this creation of a new reference system unique to Europe?
No, it's not unique to Europe. The United States are starting this same kind of approach. And we are seeing also this kind of a dynamic in Asia also.
Okay. And how is Manitou Group positioned in this reference framework?
And the reference we are working well, both building the reference or also achieving results. So when we talk about achieving results, we are mid-term from our 2025 roadmap. We are making huge progress with an important bunch of new electric machine and electric transition which are coming on. And also we are making huge progress on the 50 other targets that we have deployed within the company.
Okay. Well, Hervé, I think you convinced all of us about the importance of this transformation. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Let me turn to you, Pascal Guiffon. Hello, Pascal.
Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone.
So you are the co-founder and managing director of Openland. You are working for a company that supports others that lead projects with a positive impact. So I'm pretty sure that this subject of transformation talks to you. Can you give us maybe your feedback about that?
Yes, thank you. I think, and I'm a long-time observer and actor of CSR strategies within companies, and I can say that since COVID, we are really looking at a radical shift in the way biodiversity, climate, resources issues are taken into account within company strategies. And I think there is 2 points that are very important in this. The first one is that there is a wide mobilization of actors. The employees, they like CEO wants to be agent of change within their organization in order to tackle these issues. Young professionals are looking very deeply in the way companies are tackling those issues as well. And this is fueled as well because they are feeling a lot more of eco-anxiety that we used to. 60% of young people are feeling this eco-anxiety regarding a Lancet study on 10,000 people in the world. The third point is the mobilization of politicians. And we've seen it with the European Fit for 55 agreement, which is not just about transparency for companies, but also tackling issues on different sectors and regulating sectors to include those. And lastly, I think we are looking in territories of large mobilization of local collectivities, NGOs, associations, and private actors, not just to look at the health, social health of the territory, but also the ecological health of the territory. We've seen that in Amsterdam, which used the donut economy of Kate Raworth to look at that, in Melbourne with Regen Melbourne.
And I guess that new challenges are also affected companies.
So yes, so companies are expected to listen and mobilize their workforce in order to implement their strategies. We wait for transformation plans that include training plans with biodiversity competencies, climate competencies, circular economy competencies, but also enhanced dialogue with stakeholders on all the value chain.
Okay, and can you tell us what's the second point about this evolution?
The second point is, I think, a move from just looking at reducing carbon offsets to looking also at adaptation issues. It means that we have to fight the cause of climate change, but we also have to prepare for the consequences. So companies need to reduce their impact and in the same way look at vulnerabilities, risk on their value chain. It demands to look at how the buildings are built, how the processes are implemented, how the economic model is accelerating or decelerating these effects. So how do I manage water resources in a context where there is less water? How do I manage working conditions where there is a lot of heat waves? And most importantly, how do I impact the carbon sinks that are so important for carbon neutrality? Do I preserve it? Do I restore it? How do I live with it?
Okay, and from your point of view, what topics companies should focus on?
I think companies, we are no more in a situation where we are looking at why should we do it, but in a situation of how should we do it and how should we do it fast and with the maximum impact. And this is really important because it means that we need to do this transformation not on a crisis mode, but on a prepared mode. So I think companies need to work not just on their strategic and technological roadmap, but on their culture. How those issues are included in the culture of the organization.
Okay, thank you very much, Pascal, for this precious testimonial. We'll come back to you soon. We'll keep going with this transformation chapter. Welcome to our new guest on stage. Let's start with you, Maurizio Achilli. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Frank. Hi to all.
So Maurizio, you are the purchasing VP for Manitou Group. So these changes in perspective that we're talking about are also reflected in practice with the relationship with the suppliers. Can you tell me more?
Yes, of course. We expect those changes leading to a major transformation on our supplier base. Also consider that Manitou has ambition that goes beyond just the application of existing regulation. So this is related into an overall increase of expectation toward the suppliers, and the combined effect of the regulation and the additional expectation may lead to a change of our suppliers' base composition with the entry of new suppliers and maybe some consolidation in some area of the existing supplier base.
Okay, and how do you decide on these changes?
But in fact, it's not only a question of decision. We have from one side the technological shift. We are talking about commodities that are necessary to cover the needs related to the energy transition and to the low carbon trajectory. And when we talk about this, we are talking about power converter, electric motors, lithium batteries, and all the technology related to the hydrogen. On the other side, but even more important, is that we have a new qualification, selection, and performance measurement criteria in order to make sure that our supplier base is actually in the condition to address the CSR topic and the risk associated. We have as well, in parallel, updated our supplier rating system with the help of an independent specialized company, and so that we are going to put to reevaluate our suppliers base concerning the CSR risk. And in parallel, we are launching a campaign to put 100% of the supplier potentially and theoretically exposed at the CSR risk under control. And when I talk about theoretical at risk, I think about the implication between a specific commodity and the country of production of the products. In this case, the idea is that we will have 100% of those suppliers under control. And in parallel, we are also auditing them. So we have already started to audit them in order to make sure that actually the situation is correct.
So finally, are there many suppliers at risk?
Not at all. Out of more than 2,000 suppliers that we have audited, only few one were potentially and theoretically exposed at CSR risk. But as I said, we have already audited part of them, and the audit confirmed the CSR risk were naturally not subsisting. By the way, in this way, we have also confirmed that our qualification process is quite sound, and that it grants that our supplier-based composition share the same of Manitou CSR values.
And what about the perspective of suppliers audits?
Basically, we will extend the CSR risk assessment to the whole supply chain, so not only at the risky supplier, but in parallel, we are also conducted audit at supplier, thanks to our sourcing team, in order and with the aim to have, by the end of 2023, 55% of the rated supplier qualified and 75% by the end of 2025. This objective is also included in our annual report. In order to do that and to support this campaign, we have specifically trained our sourcing team in order to secure audit regarding our purchasing governance, the responsible purchasing charter, and of course, the process audit and the CSR risk management.
Okay. And you are therefore transforming your relationship with suppliers, but you also need to prepare the future of the sourcing.
Yes, of course. For instance, we have the ambition to cover by 2030 90% of the energy needs of the company with green energy. So we are currently negotiating the supply of electric energy and green gas, and as well we are significantly investing, directly investing in the auto generation on electric energy. And in parallel, we are discussing with suppliers long-term investment in this area. For the steel, this is another very important topic to us. We are as well discussing with the major players of each region in the world in order to set up a supply chain that will permit us, again in 2030, to have 64% of our needs covered with green or recycled steel. That is as well a major objective on our side.
Thank you very much, Maurizio. Very ambitious and a very exciting challenge. We have seen how our upstream changing is evolving now. Let's see with you, Arnaud, the downstream, namely our products and markets. Hello.
Hello, Frank. Hello to all.
I would like to remind Arnaud that you are Marketing and Product Development VP for Manitou Group. So on the downstream side, are we talking about a transformation or rupture?
Frank, what we are calling rupture are really spread over time from a customer point of view. I think it's more a transformation that changes working methods and habits. If we take the example of CO2 emissions, we cannot move from 100% internal combustion engine to 100% zero emission. Because in fact, it would mean that we have to replace 10 years of production in only 1 year, and that's not possible. That's why I would suggest we use the word transformation.
Okay, very clear. And what are the main customers' needs today?
There are two main axes. The first one, our customers are still looking for products which are generating value for them on their everyday job. That's key. Obviously, they are still looking for productivity as they were in the past. That's obvious. But not only. Now, safety, prevention of accidents are becoming extremely important for them, and as well as cost of ownership. And we can see this first expectation everywhere around the globe, nearly everywhere. And what we can say is that our products are answering those needs pretty well. Secondly, there is a green transition around new energies. And here, this is a different picture. What we can say is that Europe is clearly leading the way.
And what may be the future issues for our customers?
Our customers generally want to go to zero emission, but they have, I would say, some real question about it around performance, autonomy, and battery duration over time. To answer those questions, we are working with our design department to define the best solutions which will allow our customers to get the same performance, or very close, to the current machines they are using at the moment.
Okay, thank you. And how are these questions specific to Europe, or is it true everywhere in the world?
Here, what we can see is there is a real global harmonization around emissions, control of emissions from machines. And it's not anymore, I would say, a subject around from, I would say, so-called developed countries or developing country. If we take the example of India, India in 2024 is moving to the same standard as we have in Europe at the moment. If we take the example of China, they moved in December 2022 to the same level as North America. So this is the first aspect. Secondly, there is a strong demand about electrical products around the globe. And if we take the example of our compact electric telehandler, we can see that 50% of our sales are from Europe, but 25% from North America and 25% around for the rest of the world. And this is comforting us in two aspects. First, the good one is that our product is meeting customer needs, which is always a good thing, and that everywhere in the world, the transition has started around energies.
Okay. Thank you very much for this worldwide view, Arnaud. Thanks for coming to talk us about this development. Let me turn back to you, Aude. You're going to tell us about all the concrete things we've done in the group.
Yes, thanks, Franz. We have a range of action focusing on knowledge sharing and training. As Hervé and Michel explained, we are facing structural changes and major challenges that require to share collectively inside Manitou a common language on this transformation.
And how do you involve and sensibilize the Manitou Group's employees?
We started by getting the group's 100 top managers involved in Climate Fresk workshop. And the aim is to train all the group employees by 2025. And for the teams, we organized what we call 2 tons workshops to help them understand the levers that will enable them to go from an average of 10 tons of CO2 today to 2 tons in 2050.
All right. And what about the CSR team?
We have more people today in the CSR team, and new CSR functions have also been created in finance, in R&D, in purchasing. So this goes to show that CSR is more and more integrated and deeply embedded into business.
Thank you, Aude. And I understand that in our work disciplines and functions, there are also been skill development happening.
Yes, that's right. And to illustrate that, our buyers are trained in sustainable purchasing. Our department in engineering are trained in eco-design. And we are deploying energy management training on production sites. And there's still a lot to be done in other areas and in other countries.
Thank you. And how have things changed in how you supervise and steer the path?
The finance team and the CSR team work closely together. We have set up a project team whose aim is to strengthen the current and the future CSR ambition. And this involves working on CSR data, which must become at the same quality as finance data, but also working on transformation to embark the team to embrace enlarged stakes on enlarged scopes on the value chain. So this project will take us to at least 2025 and will involve the whole company.
Thank you all for all these explanations. And to conclude this part, I would like to give the floor to Christian Gehl, Industrial Design University Manager of Nantes. I think he has a challenging questions to our speakers.
The industrial paradigm for 1 century is the following: how to do better and better what I know how to do. The paradigm of innovation from now on is how I can do other things otherwise with what I know how to do. So the question is, what you're going to do tomorrow?
Very interesting question, I guess. Arnaud, maybe you want to start?
Yeah, please. I think it's completely right, and we can see it from our customers. Our customers are not only now focusing on productivity, but they are always considering environmental aspects when they make their decision and in their actions. And just one thing is saying, what are we doing to do tomorrow? I would say we are not waiting for tomorrow. We're already doing it now with the transition we are doing through our products. And what we want to do tomorrow, obviously, is to exceed our customer expectations.
Thank you, Arnaud. Anyone else, maybe?
Yes, I can add that I think that we cannot change the rules of the games in 2 days. So I think the first thing to do is to share on these new rules of the games, to make people understand, employees understand what is a world with +3 degrees, what is a world with limited resources. And we started that in Manitou through conferences with external experts to explain the situation, current situation on the planet boundaries.
Okay, thank you, Aude. Maybe someone?
Yes. What I could add, you mentioned that, Aude, but you mentioned also regarding the cultural aspect. When the people are trained, when they are becoming aware of the challenges on what's ahead of you, they are really suddenly transforming themselves, and they are really starting to be strongly involved and strongly embedded in the transformation of the group. And that's absolutely something that we need to enhance all over the group.
Thank you, everyone, for these great discussions. It was a pleasure. We have seen how transformation is necessary for all companies. Now, let's move on to the second part of our show with the importance of human resources to support the CSR approach. To start with the second stake, human resources, let's watch different testimonials from graduate schools managers in order to better understand their vision of CSR.
Gaia is a school from Manitou Group, so it's entirely dedicated to social and ecological transition, and we have about 300 students that are daily here, and we have also some executive education. The specificity of Gaia is to bundle management on one end and ecological and social aspects on the other end. And that's very important because most of the time we have managers, we have engineers, we have specialists in the environment, but we have to embrace the global issues we are facing today and to integrate it in managing transitions. If we think about Gaia, it's pretty new, and after 2 years I see a lot of companies who try to target us or to talk to us because they are lost. They don't know exactly how to tackle climate change, how to integrate those environmental issues, for example, tap water. They don't have running water and they need it for their materials, raw materials. So we have a lot of companies who don't know how to deal with the future, and we try to help them with students who have the knowledge for that.
ICAM is a generalist and multidisciplinary engineering school founded in 1898 in Lille. We have now 7 campuses in France and 7 campuses in the rest of the world. At ICAM we have built a special school named École de Production. We try with these schools to find for young dropouts a place in the society by learning an industrial job through practice. And this school allows us to melting young people from École de Production and young people from the engineering school. For several years we have planned to work on the integral ecology. Integral ecology proposing an approach for to have a development that is frugal and help to reduce inequalities.
There are 2 types of design school. One is school of creators, one is school of professional of creation. We have the second one. We prepare students to become professional in companies for tomorrow. And what will be their job is to represent the world of tomorrow, to help the companies to fix their strategies. to assume the big shifts in the society, the consideration that we need to be more sober and we need to save the resources. We have decided 10 years ago to shift totally the organization of the master's program. We have decided to orientate this master's program on complex societal matters: care, city, food design, digital design, and media design. We help many companies to pass, for example, from products to services, because we need to save the resources, and tomorrow many companies won't be able to sell any more products, but to pass to services to generate added value.
As we just saw, our partner schools and universities are making changes to their courses and their student profiles and changing what they expect from companies. Let's take a step back with you, Christine Prat. Hello.
Hello, Frank.
You're the Group Executive VP Human Resources. What do you think we need in terms of human resources to successfully drive this transformation?
Well, I think the situation is quite paradoxical. We are now all aware of the situation of climate change. We know the data, we have the knowledge, we have the figure, and nevertheless, we can still sense a certain amount of inertia from organizations when it comes to transforming themselves in depth.
And how would you lead with this transformation?
I think we have definitively to improve the human impact and the human factor, because it's about carrying out a personal paradigm shift in how we are, and who we want to be. It's a personal journey, Frank. And the critical mass of personal journey definitively will change the company's culture, so that we can definitively deal and take into consideration in our day-to-day, in our strategy, about environmental and societal challenges.
Thank you. And what do you mean by that exactly?
Well, in my opinion, there are three main areas in which we can bring about a change. First, we need to cultivate a sense of psychology security, so that everyone feels free to act and to innovate in a freestyle. As we all know, anxiety generates paralysis and prevents from acting and innovating. What does it mean to create a sensitive or a sense of security in the workplace? It means be able to express your needs in any situation. It means daring to express sensitive issues in a constructive way. It means to be able to express your vulnerability, to say, I don't know, without it being a problem. What is important to know that it's feeling secure in an uncertain environment improves information sharing, creativity, and job satisfaction. Secondly, we need to develop a managerial culture that allows us to innovate by tackling resources-related issues in a positive way. It means being able to keep one foot in the present, managing all the risk of the day as component stock out, inflation, political or economical events, and at the same time one foot in the future to be able to dream and to build the world of tomorrow.
Thank you, Christine. You were mentioning three subjects. What's the last one?
We need to develop confidence in our ability to succeed together.
Isn't already that case at Manitou Group?
Yes, you're right, Frank. It's true that the employee engagement rate at Manitou Group is really impressive. Here, I'm speaking about a collective success more than an individual success. For example, different jobs function working together with the same objective, sharing the priority on a day-to-day, keeping in mind the future, and being engaged all together, even if they are not part of the same team or the same divisions. I'm talking about a culture that values collective initiatives.
And how could this reflection concretely take place?
We could imagine different things. We could imagine implementing meeting rituals where teams take a step back just to look at all the collective success, all the collective dynamic is working. We can imagine also to take time for each person to analyze and how it contributes to the collective success. We could imagine a performance management based on collective success. We could imagine moments when everyone can express their needs and above all, when be able to listen and understand other colleague needs.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. You will be back a little bit later. We were talking to us about changing the company's culture and way of working. Now you're going to talk to us about changing skills and function with you, Julien. Hello.
Hello, Frank.
So you're the VP R&D for Manitou Group. Can you inform us about the acceleration of the energy transition, and does it require new competencies and new job discipline?
Yes, for sure, Frank. So as you know, we have in front of us two major transitions on the way. The first one is the reduction of our carbon footprint, which means implementing new energy such as hydrogen, electricity in the way we operate our machine, but also thanks to eco-design to produce more eco-friendly machines from now on. We are really experiencing a revolution in the way we work, equivalent to the arrival of 3D modeling 30 years ago. And we are completely changing the driver of our design choice. We used to measure quality, manufacturing costs, but also performances. But from now on, we are really taking into consideration the environment impact. That means the choice of material, the quantity of them, the manufacturing process, and really to think in advance on how the machine will be dismantled. So we definitely need skilled people in eco-design, green energy, and product life cycle analysis.
And what is the second transition?
The second transition is the one I really like. This is machine autonomy and robotization. So this means enabling machines to perform on their own in their operation. And so to work on that, we have created a new position called data scientist. His job is in particular to experiment the environmental capture.
And what does it mean in terms of recruitment and organization?
There are two components. The first one, there will be training for sure. 80% of our internal people today, that means more than 300 people, will be trained in the design of and the use of new tools to improve manufacturing choice. And as you know, from 2024, we will be integrated new CAD and new product lifecycle management tools. That will integrate all these new features I just mentioned. And starting this year, 11 of our flagship products will incorporate this new analysis.
And what is the second component you want to talk about?
And secondly, in terms of recruitment, in 2022, we trained an eco-designer in-house. And we have then integrated it in our industrial team. Today, there are 8 different people with an exciting variety of profile.
And so, what are the forecasts for the next few years?
The first thing I would say, this is the hydrogen ecosystem, which is getting structured very rapidly. You remember in 2020, that was only an idea, a belief, I would say. And now we are in 2023, and really we have two new products which are ready to go in operation. And we will test them in different scenarios, one in the construction area and the second one in the maritime sector. And as you know, this is very, very important for us to test it with our customer in real conditions.
You are talking about hydrogen, but is it easy to recruit engineers specialized in this technology?
There's a real war of talent on hydrogen. We are going to search people outside, that's for sure, from the company. But you have also taken the decision to train some of our employees in-house. They were formerly specialized in powertrain, in driveline, and now they will become specialists in these new energies.
So does it mean you want to expand your teams?
Between now and 27, if I consider our site in United States, Italy, France, where the projects are ongoing, we're going to double our workforce in this area. In particular, as I said, hydrogen specialists, but also industrial designer. On the robotic side, we will triple, I think, the size of the team with the arrival of new jobs, new functions, like, as I said, data scientists, data miner, artificial intelligence, or robotic engineers. This is really tremendous.
Thank you very much, Julien, for information about this roadmap. Now, let's talk about the positive impact partnerships with a case study from the United States.
Hello there. I'm happy to be here to talk about our partnerships in Yankton, South Dakota. With the large expansion to the plant that is now underway, we have many great opportunities where people can begin a career at Manitou Group. In an effort to increase awareness, we have developed many partnerships within Yankton, the state of South Dakota, and with our neighboring state of Nebraska. Our local partnerships have been with the Yankton High School and many surrounding local community high schools. For instance, we partner with Yankton High School in the World of Work program. Students obtain class credit for shadowing a position for 1 full week. This program provides the student with first-hand knowledge about a specific area of interest. In addition to high school partnerships, we also have partnerships established with 4 technical colleges and 3 major universities within South Dakota and Nebraska. We offer tours and student internship opportunities in our engineering, quality, purchasing, and human resource departments. These internships provide future growth opportunities for the new generation, which is vital to the scope of Manitou Group's key initiatives. This year, we have also established a partnership with South Dakota Department of Corrections, which is a minimal correction facility. In a joint effort with the Department of Corrections, the Work Release Program offers an opportunity for individuals to become an active contributor re-entering back into society. It's very important for us to promote diversity in terms of recruitment. We focus on their potential, not their past, and we are proud to give them a second chance. A proof of this great partnership, we have to date recruited 5 welders and 8 assemblers. We'll continue to recruit through this partnership. Thank you for your time to learn about Manitou Group's CSR programs and the partnerships in Yankton, South Dakota.
Thank you very much, Linda, for telling us about this wonderful initiative. I'd like to turn back to you, Christine. With this example of positive impact on American partnership, we can sense a movement towards openness.
Yes, Frank. And this openness is really key. It's a fundamental change and challenge in our HR culture and even in the company culture. Definitively, we must systematically draw with our ecosystem, because this brings a lot of openness, this brings a lot of values, this brings much more interaction and openness to a new world.
And do you have a concrete example?
Yes, I talked about the 3 main topics earlier, and we would like to experiment a new program back of next year. And in this program, we would like to insist on this dimension of openness and also to develop the self-awareness to manage the sense of collective success, to work on their confidence in collective success and how to collaborate differently.
But why are you doing this?
We are doing this because we need to invent a new way of living in our company. And that's why, because we need to implement a new strategy that put at the heart of the strategy environmental and societal issues. And so to do that, it's come from a personal initiative, and so a change in our way of working and in our culture.
And what is the next objective?
We should definitely be different in the way we do business by having a positive impact on people and on the health.
Okay, and do you have maybe a project or a question that you are asking to yourself?
I may say, may we dare to dream from growth to prosperity.
Oh, such a great question. Thank you very much, Christine. And we are about to see that in Italy there is also a desire for openness that translates into tangible projects.
Hello, Frank. Hello, everyone. Concerning corporate social responsibility, in Italy we have created a cross-functional group made up of around 15 colleagues who meet every month with the aim of thinking, launching and managing initiatives in 3 main clusters: social, environmental and well-being at work. On the social front, for the past 2 years, we have been supporting a charity that helps women victims of violence to regain their independence by entering the world of work again. Recently, we have been actively involved as volunteers in areas affected by severe flooding in our region, Emilia-Romagna. Our people have been involved in cleaning, organization and inventory, and for some teams has become a real team-building experience. Recently extended to foreign colleagues visiting Manitou Italia and who have greatly appreciated to be involved in such initiatives. On the environmental front, we work closely with the Castelfranco City Hall. In agreement with them, we planted new trees in a part of the city. We participate in 2 days of cleaning streets and parks. These are initiatives that we sometimes conduct in the weekend in order to involve our families and our kids too. Internally, we have recently launched a carpooling project where we offer incentives to get employees to share their journeys to work, even if it's still difficult to change people's habits. To get to the well-being at work, where to the many sports groups and initiatives that we launched, everybody knows that we do yoga in the company once a week, we have set up various delivery services for employees to help them balance their private and professional lives. Finally, we have just opened an area dedicated to people's relax, surrounded by green, where the new corporate restaurant is located, and which has been fully covered with solar panels, as well as our factory already was. These are just some examples of initiatives with the direct involvement of our people, which is our priority in choosing CSR projects, as we believe this is the best way to concretely trigger the change. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Lorenza. We can feel your commitment right here. What, don't you think so, Christine?
Yes, I'm keen. It's very impressive, and definitively I really foster this kind of initiatives.
In order to conclude our worldwide Manitou Group overview, let's also take a look about the action launched in India with Kanak Mittal.
Hello everyone. Women at Manitou Equipment India are united through League of Women, a committee modeled for and by the women of Manitou. The committee is designed to uplift the female employees by addressing their concerns, valuing their suggestions, in an endeavor to make Manitou Equipment India a desirable workplace for women. Conforming with Manitou Group's status of being an international company, having strong global presence, the working principles of League of Women have been inspired from the United Nations Global Compact Women's Empowerment Principles. With a team of 26 female employees and more to join, MEI, through its committee, empowers women, allows them to thrive professionally at work while also ensuring work-life balance. The committee took its first flight with its opening meeting in May 2023. Some important decisions were made, such as setting up of a daycare facility for the kids of the female employees, installation of CCTV cameras, building of restrooms, building of work from home and travel policy, female doctors' visitation to the health center, coupled with prevention of sexual harassment at workplace training for the entire manpower of MEI. The committee members are optimistic of its inception, as it has been receiving a conducive and positive environment from the entire MEI. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kanak, for your contribution. Such a great initiative. And now let's have a look on our second question to have a look on a student expectation.
As a young woman, what can you propose for the equality between men and women?
So, who want to start?
I can start, because I can say that it's really part of our culture in Manitou Group to work on equality. And for sure, we have a lot of program action on a day-to-day to integrate on-board women. On the more, we are in an industry sector, and we know that women are not really attractive. And it's so a pity, because women are so happy working in Manitou Group with such professional opportunities, taking into consideration a lot of personal a possibility to adapt.
Julien, you want maybe add a word?
Yes, I'm very proud about that, because a few weeks ago some of our team members come to me and say, okay, Julien, we want to get more motivation, pride and so on, and so they proposed to participate to this very famous program called EVE, and in October, so 3 of them will go to participate to the program. They will get inspiration, they will get motivation, example of success, and we are really looking forward to welcome them back and that they inspire in the complete company.
This experimentation definitively needs to be deployed all around the world.
Thank you everyone for this clarification. That's the end of our second part, human resources. It's now time to deal with our third topic, beyond the climate. So let's move on to our final chapter, Beyond the Climate. As you've already gathered, the thinking and transformations required go far beyond climate and climate change. Pascal, let me turn back to you. Would you like to give us your expert view on the subject?
Yes, thank you, Frank. I think we are observing today in several countries, in the United States, France, and other countries, a lot more of organizations that are advocating to move from the extractive economy where we are living to a regenerative economy.
Thank you, but can you explain to everyone what is a regenerative economy?
With pleasure, the concept is quite new. A regenerative economy is an economic system that aims to restore and regenerate ecosystem where we live in. It means that we are trying to give back more to nature than what we take in our activities.
And what is requested for a company that is integrating this hope to contribute to the regeneration of ecosystems?
What is interesting is that this concept includes the fact that the idea that businesses can play an active role in creating a sustainable future and participating to the regeneration of ecosystem, what we need today. And to do so, they need first to consider issues in a systematic way, which means that we are not just looking at climate issues, but also biodiversity, resource depletion, and also how we are taking into account human basic needs. The second thing is they need to question their own purpose, what they bring to the world. Do you bring more life or do you destroy it? Does it heal the future or does it steal the future? Does it serve human needs or manufacture human wants?
And what is the third point?
And the third point is to embark in a transformation journey which is ambitious, which will give place to long-term perspective and vision, and also radical innovation, including renouncement and also transformation of economic model. Some pioneering companies are already doing it, and I think, for example, about Interface, which is producing carpet tiles, or Expansions, which is a French company working in cosmetics.
Okay, and can you go maybe deeper in detail?
Yes, of course. They have designed very interesting and innovative projects. Interface, for example, is designing factory as forest with the help of biomimicry, and they are today producing carpet tiles that absorb CO2 and not emits it. Expansions, for example, has taken a bold decision to stop selling baby wipes, while it is today 20% of their turnover. So they will stop it by 2027.
Very inspiring examples.
Yeah, this company, they are not just fighting against climate change, but they are fighting for life. They are bringing life to the table, not just as an object, but as a subject. I think regeneration is a trajectory, it's a hope. It's based on science, it's based on our ingenuity, our capacity to adapt, change, invent for the better, but also on what makes us human. Our feelings, our dreams, the fact that we are capable to tell stories that will allow us to overcome the great challenges we are facing.
Thank you very much, Pascal, for this second analysis. Manitou Group has been working hard on this issue as part of the Convention des entreprises pour le climat in France. It means a convention of businesses for climate change. Michel, what is all about and why did you sign up Manitou Group in this process?
Yeah, this convention is a movement that we joined at the end of 2022, which aims to get economic decision makers to move, to understand the challenges, of the climate, of the living world, and to compel them to reinvent themselves.
And we understand the interest of the CEC globally, but what is the interest for Manitou Group?
Yeah, for Manitou, to be part of this movement is a way to completely overhaul our thinking and to think about our business model in the long term, to think about our activities. It is a long-term project, and I see also the strength of working on it collectively with all the ecosystem we're working with. And it is our responsibility as leader, as business decision maker also, our responsibility to think about the future and the sustainability of the company.
Thank you. Before we go on with you, Michel, I'd like to turn to you, Aude. Together with Hervé Rocher, you attend these days for the group. In concrete terms, how does it work?
Yes, Manitou joined the Western France Convention with 120 other leaders. So over the 10 months of course, we met a lot of high-level experts, economists, scientists, with also inspiring testimonials from business leaders who have started to pivot their business model. And for Manitou, the challenge is to bring this knowledge and inspiration back into the company to support the company culture, to contribute to the company culture and transformation.
And what do you get out of it for Manitou Group?
I would say two things. First, we get a lot of value out of the diversity of the group inside CEC because we are working with all kinds of regional players, startups, bankers, small companies, bigger ones, student schools. And it shows for Manitou that co-constructing with this real diversity of viewpoints at all levels of the company, inside and outside, and with all generations, is something very powerful. And that's what we would like to use to build our next CSR ambition.
Okay. And secondly, you want maybe to give us information about a long-term process, or?
Yes, this is the second point. It's transformative because it's a long-term process. So we mature from session to session, laying the foundation for new ways of thinking, new models. And it's something that we are also trying in Manitou for several years now. I mean regularly disseminating information and knowledge to the teams at every opportunities through workshop, training, conferences, to better explain these sustainability challenges. And I think we must continue and go further.
So let's keep going. Thank you, Aude. Michel, you want maybe to add a word?
Yes, it's very interesting. And what is very interesting in this project is that on the one hand, we think about the very long term, and also to have the idea of thinking not only about reducing our carbon impact, not only about reducing the living world impact, but to think about even going to zero or even more in the long term to be positive. So it's a way to rethink how we manage the business, how to rethink how our vision will structure the sustainability and the performance of Manitou in the long run. The rules of the games are changing, how we anticipate, how we tackle them to be a leader, a winner in those new rules.
And is there another dimension you want to highlight?
Yes, it's the collective dimension. Working together with the ecosystem is a way to go beyond just what we think, to be imaginative, to work together. And for example, in this convention, we have one dealer and one supplier with us in this convention.
Okay, thank you, Michel. Let's listen to what has this dealer to say us today about the CEC.
Alors, nous avons choisi de nous inscrire à la CEC, à la Convention des entreprises pour le climat, pour plusieurs raisons. La première, c'est que nous considérons que nous sommes la génération qui savons, donc qui devons agir. Alors par rapport à quoi nos parents et nos grands-parents ignoraient les impacts environnementaux de l'économie en règle générale. Nous ne pouvons pas en dire autant de notre génération. Que ce soit pour nous ou pour nos enfants, on a un devoir d'agir sur les impacts environnementaux. La deuxième raison, c'est que la CEC a créé en fait des parcours régionaux. Nous sommes inscrits à la CEC Provence-Corse. L'idée étant de réunir un écosystème macroéconomique régional partant du principe qu'on est tous clients-fournisseurs des uns et des autres. L'idée est de suivre le même parcours, donc avoir la même sensibilisation par rapport aux enjeux fondations sociales et enjeux environnementaux. L'objectif étant, au terme de ce parcours, d'écrire une feuille de route de redirection vers une économie régénérative. Alors une économie régénérative, c'est quoi? C'est partir du principe que les impacts environnementaux ou sociaux d'une économie, quel que soit le modèle économique, aient plus d'impact positif vis-à-vis de l'environnement et des fondations sociales que d'impact négatif. L'enjeu pour nous était d'embarquer les équipes et pour ce faire, on a identifié 19 ambassadeurs RSE sur le groupe. Ces 19 ambassadeurs représentent toutes les générations de nos équipes, mais également tous nos métiers, la vente, la location, l'après-vente, la pièce de rechange, et également l'ensemble de nos agences. Pour les sensibiliser, on a démarré en réalisant une fresque du climat, et suite à cette fresque, on a identifié 7 projets majeurs structurants sur le groupe. On a ensuite réalisé un bilan carbone à l'aide de la BPI. Et enfin, on a découvert avec joie que le groupe Manitou avait intégré la CEC Ouest, ce qui nous permet d'échanger de façon régulière et structurée avec le groupe Manitou pour identifier des leviers potentiels de redirection vers une économie régénérative.
Thank you, Ludovic Piquant, for this great testimonial. It's really interesting to see how you are committed. Aude, you are very familiar with all these subjects. What have you learned that you don't already know?
Not an easy question. I can see that given the magnitude of what's going to have to be organized, CSR policies, as we've known, won't be enough. CSR policies are moving very fast, including in Manitou, but we are not moving, unfortunately, at the right speed at all. So this inevitably raises question, because we've really got to break with business as usual. We have to question economic models, and we have also to learn collectively to change our ways of thinking. So the big challenge for Manitou will be to reconcile the urgency with the longer term that we inevitably need to transform.
Forgive me for asking that, but isn't that a bit demoralizing?
No, not at all. On the contrary, I think it's very exciting to be allowed to think differently, especially in terms of collective intelligence with other members. And for Manitou Group, just the idea to put out our activity against the planet's limits and think all together with the teams, with the partners, I'm sure can help invent something new and with real value.
Thank you, Aude. What is inspiring for you?
I think this is the experiences from other companies and leaders who have abandoned certain activities or rethought others. It's very inspiring, even if it's very difficult. You get also the feeling that if economic players work together in cooperation, the movement can be very powerful. However, for Manitou, today there is no written plan yet. It's up to Manitou to invent it, and I'm sure it can generate incredible opportunities for the companies. For example, how can Manitou, with all its expertise and its activity, can renaturalize spaces tomorrow? How can we regenerate the living all over the world? And how can we replant our industrial site? So it raises new questions.
Thank you very much, Aude. Michel, you maybe want to add a last word on this subject?
Yes, our ambition is to fertilize the group's strategic roadmap with this overall approach. In fact, we start from CSR to talk about companies' durability, to talk about the long term, the future, our performance, how in our new evolution of business model we continue to be a leader, performant for the company. You know, ecological priorities and performance of the company are to be combined for a sustainable growth performance of Manitou Group in the long term.
And thank you, Michel, for clarifying your ambition. Let's hear right now the last question of a student from Ecam School.
what is your main carbon emission sector and how do you manage to deal with it?
So, who wants to answer this question?
I can.
Yeah, please, keep going.
So for carbon emission, if we take all the emission on the value chain of Manitou, so scope 1, 2, 3 emission, the main source of emission is the use of our products, which counts for 88% of our total emission. So this is a key priority for the company. We manage that through a low carbon roadmap with a steering committee every 2 months. And we look at the progress of our 2030 targets. And let me illustrate just 3 of our targets for 2030. We will have 43% of low emission products sold at that time, so electric or hydrogen. 7% gain in energy on all products, and 100% of all products will be, of new products, will be eco-design with carbon performance measures.
Thank you very much, Aude, and thank you all of you for the quality of the debate. Now let's go to the conclusion. Let's stay with you, Aude and Michel. Can you give us your feeling about what we were listening to today?
I would just like to conclude with one word for Manitou teams. Thank you for your contribution and participation to this roadmap and this transformation.
Thank you, Aude. Michel, the floor is yours.
Yes, we've been through 3 challenges with transformation, human resources, and climate changes, climate impact. They are all absolutely vital for the company. They are intertwined. And let's not forget that we have also to rely on all our ecosystem to tackle that, to rely on our dealers, customers, suppliers, stakeholders, all together to tackle those challenges. And to conclude with, I would say 2 things. First, we have to be humble, with humility to tackle the challenges. The road is long for the development of the company. And second, confidence. I am confident. At Manitou Group, we have the expertise, the people, we have the foundations will allow us to tackle those challenges with ambition and with the capacity to develop the company for the long term, to develop sustainable growth of the company. So let's do it all together with humility and confidence. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michel. That's the end of our show. Thanks to everyone who took part in this great edition of On the Way Up, and a special thanks to our guests on stage, Pascal Guiffon from Openland and Gwenaëlle Chodaleux from KPMG. Thanks to everyone for following us today. We hope you enjoy the quality of the discussions you've heard. And don't forget to ask your questions on the following address. Be sure we will answer you very soon. To conclude, and as a preview, we are really glad to present you today our new corporate video. Enjoy it and have a good day or a good night. See you soon for the next edition of On the Way Up.
In a world in motion, transformation is a fundamental necessity to address major societal and environmental challenges and continue to act responsibly and sustainably. As a world reference in the handling, aerial work platforms, and earth-moving sectors, we collectively work to make life safe and easy. Day after day, we strive to improve working conditions, safety, and performance worldwide, while protecting people and their environment. With products and services distributed across 140 countries, we play an active role in this world in motion. We deploy our expertise at every step of our products' life cycles, from their design to their end of life, and even beyond. With innovation as our DNA and data as a game changer, we develop solutions to rise to the needs of our clients, to make their everyday easier, to transform uses, to push the boundaries, reinvent ourselves, to open up new horizons, all the while investing constantly, in particular in our manufacturing assets. All of this is only possible thanks to our committed, passionate, and reliable people. We are proud to belong to a rich ecosystem with a wide array of skill sets, from R&D to industrial plants, from spare parts distribution to software design, from digital tech to data management, from finance to sales. We are and we remain a resolutely people-centric and ethically driven group. More than ever, we set the world in motion.